Hello everyone, welcome to Fableheim and another dev diary for Age of Wonders 4 Eldritch Realms, this time covering the art. Now there's not a whole lot of gameplay or mechanical revelations here, but if you're more interested in a bit of the aesthetic back end and perhaps a little bit of a surprise, then this one's for you. I figured I'd cover it, just, I cover all the dev diaries. So we're back on a Tuesday. Look at that. Look at that. Sovereign greetings, my thrallkin. Art director Rich Burgess here for another image-heavy thread of Tentacles. Be warned of minor visual spoilers. Do not tread further if you want to go into the abyss fresh. For this dev diary, I'd like to discuss the process of pulling this DLC out of the darkness of the Umbral Abyss and into the light, with some behind-the-scenes exploration and some technical processes. Your Eldritch Sovereign Leader. Vote Eldritch Sovereign 2024. I'd do it. I cannot think of any games where you can customize your own monstrous Eldritch leader, so we had a lot of fun exploring what this could mean and look like. To start and hit the ground running, we took the existing Lost Mage unit as a base and built on top of it. Making sure the unit always floats and does not hold any weapons, albeit a relic hovering in front, meant we were freed from many animation restraints and could really push the silhouettes and bodies of the leaders. Tentacles are cool, but what of other variations could we push? Folded moth wings instead of arms, a mermaid or sinew body, and insectoid legs. We tried to fulfill different Eldritch fantasies. We started off with blue sky sketches exploring the possibilities. Some of these look incredible and horrifying. This is a floating centipede. That's horrific. I like this one. I'm not even sure what you would call this. This bottom left one, it's very cool though. This is just a flesh abomination. This is like a mermaid thing. I think I've seen this in it. Never mind, keep going. We split them into different categories. You can mix and match what you like best. Do you want to be all about the tentacles? Sure. Or if you want to lean into being a creepy mummy, we have you covered. Here are some head and back pieces, back piece explorations. This guy looks like, oh no, I've lost it. The father from Dragon Age Awakening? I like that. Okay. One of these should have been like one of those open faces from like a horror thing. Like the moth wings. Good stuff. We then take those Photoshop 2D sketches into 3D using ZBrush and push the shapes further. Here at the top left, we see a head. Indeed. Back and body type all being worked on at once as part of an Obsidian set. We then split these into different sliders for you to play with. We also made sure it wasn't all monstrous, as that makes for a monotone look. You could also create beautiful monsters with merfolk bodies and petal motifs. Indeed. This reminds me of the Pride Demon. I'm thinking of all the Dragon Age stuff because of, well, makes me sad to think about it. So let's keep going. There's a mummy thing. I thought this was the Astral Wizard King thingy. Technically, they are related. There's the beautiful face. I really want to use this on a character. We never have a specific number of customization options in mind. We just keep going until we run out of time, much to the stress of our poor producers. Oh, good. We then have a set of bodies that might move in different ways or have some unique hook. We spend some extra animation budget here, leaning into those tropes to make sure the mermaid tail flows properly, the mummy cloth sways according to physics, and the eyeballs look around and blink. On top of the customization assets, we also added proportion sliders for head, arms, legs, and wings. We also tried a different approach to skin color by tinting it with two different colors that result in some really interesting combination. That guy has an eye inside of his stomach. I've seen that before too. Instead, wait a minute. A few examples of what you can create. We cannot wait to see your beautiful monstrosity. Here's the GIF. I believe this is on the Steam DLC page. Wasn't there in My Lovely Wife, one of the succubi had a giant eye in her stomach? And that's a slightly more safe for work variant. On top of looks, you can also choose a starting relic or forge your own in the item forge. Here we see the dodecahedron 12 with our custom rune font seen throughout the game. Apparently the rune font is basically just like a one-to-one cipher. So if anyone cracks it, please let me know. or a gloopy flesh slime ball. Notice how we really try to push effects and motions through our leaders and items. This really requires the whole team to pull off: a 3D artist, a tech artist, a VFX artist, and an animator. Gloop. Gloop. As your Eldritch ruler levels up, you can take them down different paths of your choosing. 3 things happen. Firstly, they scale up in size. A fully leveled up Eldritch Sovereign is comparable to a giant. Next, they get new visuals. Smoky PFX appear around their bodies with embers, and eventually they gain a magical crown truly living up to their sovereign names. These visuals depend on the path that you choose. Okay. So this must be the Cosmic Caster, is it Enthraller? Havoc Caster thingy. There's 2 shadows, right? Which one do we think that is? A magic Eldritch leader wouldn't be complete. Or maybe it'd share between the 2 shadow ones. That's possible. It's possible both shadow ones get that shadow crown. A magic Eldritch leader would not be complete without new and powerful spells and hero abilities. Here are a few examples. Whoosh. You have to guess what they are. Kaboom. For this fresh and fleshy DLC, we wanted to lean into the heritage of Age of Wonders 2 Shadow Magic and bring back the much beloved Shadow Realm, now known as the Umbral Abyss. Yeah, they mentioned that it's not called the Shadow Realm because they didn't want it to be attached to the Shadow Affinity. So unfortunately, we won't be banishing anyone to the Shadow Realm, but we can still make the meme. Your new realm layer is set up in the front end, and in-game can be accessed by none other than a tentacle entrance. Smiley face. They are essentially portals to the otherworld layers or between other floating Umbral islands. The icon above the portal shows you where it leads. Notice how the Umbral biome leaks through these portals, infecting other lands. The gloom. The floating islands of the Abyss contain a whole new biome to explore. Spooky. For this biome, we created a new mountain set. Mountains come with 3 different sizes and multiple mesh variation per size. Random rotation adds even more variation to the game world. That reminds me, is it Halo? One of the early Halos only has 1 rock. They made 1 huge rock, and all other rocks are just that rock rotated and sunken in different ways, which is hilariously efficient. I approve. Other ambient details like eyeball bats spawn around forest tiles. That is an eyeball with wings. I suppose eyeball bats. Appropriate. We've added a lot of new locations to the Umbral layer, from visit shrines with fun visuals and properties to powerful nodes and a new magic material. We threw in some shiny pickups to boost, so the Umbral Abyss is a treasure trove of places ready to be looted. This gives the new layer a distinct feel and reason to enter. Games are not a static medium. When creating new ideas, we try to push visuals with the help of particle effects, shaders, and animations. Motion is an added element that breathes life into otherwise static objects, and importantly helps with readability by drawing our attention to it. For instance, see how we are adding motion to these new province improvements below. It's a book with scrolls. It's another book. This one's evil. You can tell because it's purple. And that is... Oh, isn't this the new... This is the special province improvement for the Summoner subculture. We saw this very briefly on the dev stream. Or here with the floating rocks, rising mists, and runes of this new monolith node. Is this the plus 30 knowledge thing? I'm gonna want all of these. I'm a sucker for knowledge. The cool thing about visit shrines, or visit sites, is that we can have 2 states. Active, when you can go there, and cooldown after you've visited and taken whatever splendors it holds. It presents opportunities to add visual surprises like with the Quicksilver Basin below. Okay, I did not expect that. It has a nice little water. It's like a well you can drink from to replenish yourself in the Umbral Abyss, and then teeth. There's another shrine that's like an eyeball is looking around, and after you tap it, the eyeball closes. Oh Oh yeah, this one. The Umbral Illuminati are always watching. I wonder what happens when you visit the site. Sorry, I spoiled it, the eye closes. Not only are there creepy things in the dark, but we made sure there are locations of safety that fight back against this darkness. This brings a visual contrast as you seek a heaven in the depths below. The shrine. The Shield of Light particle effects. What other secrets are there? New visit sites, nodes, and powerful pickups await. Lighting the abyss, setting the mood. Powerful pickups, like just a spell. Yeah, that's like the most powerful pickup I can think of. So here's where there's actually some potentially very big news. For this DLC, we made the foundations of a new system that supports unique monsters as dwelling rulers, the Umbral Tyrants. We might expand upon this system down the line, allowing you to interact with wildlife monsters like giants, ogres, and more as they rule their own dwelling or as recruitable heroes themselves. This is just a bomb that they just snuck into this cute, fun little art dev diary. Surprise! So, in Age of Wonders 3, the dwellings were a thing. They were an independent faction, and you could pull them in as an actual city. And there were Naga. Were Archons a dwelling? I can never remember. Big undead skeleton things. Dragons. Giants. And there's a Fae thing, right? But yeah, anyway, this would be exceptionally cool. I approve. I would love to see it in the future. And especially if we could recruit the big boys as heroes. I believe they said in the last dev stream that you can't get one of these. The ruler of the Umbral Dwelling, you cannot recruit them. Which is unfortunate. The Eldritch Hive comes to life with its own monstrous leader. What dark trades can be made here? Inspired by termite spires, and a nod to the planetfall Kiriko cities, the Umbral Dwellings act as the beating heart of the Abyss. Eldritch Dwelling event and city background. Yoink, this is... That's thumbnail material right there. And here is, of course, the Umbral Tyrant, meeting him, offering him thralls. They mentioned in the dev stream, the last one, that this little runic transcript here means mine for yours, when you sacrifice 2 thralls to make them not hate you. The biome also comes with its own flavor of vegetation, from trees to small plants. Shown here are some early concepts for trees, fleshy tendrils, and twisted coral-like shapes. We have limitations, so units can still stand around the base and use them for partial cover. You can see how the rough concepts got translated into 3D through iteration. Indeed. I can. Here we see the vegetation in context of the game, with added motion through a combination of bone animation and shaders. Bone animation. Okay. Obsidian is the material used in the game to communicate magic and power, from the mystic weapons to the foundation of the Wizard's Tower Ancient Wonder. By retexturing the rocks and cliffs to be obsidian, it really helped give the Umbral layer its own flair. Here we see the temperate gold node map change into the Umbral Abyss. Textures, trees, rocks, and lighting all swap out to place you in another world. Yep. Always reuse what you've already made. Saves time, resources, and it is familiar. Different enough, but familiar. There's actually a thing... There's a word for that. I mean, it's used in horror, where it's like just eerie. Where something is where it's supposed to be, but it's just off ever so slightly that it's unsettling. Something like that. That's a Havoc caster, and very large with tentacles. While some maps appear more natural, others feel more dangerous with the sharp insectoid shapes. The spawner and dwelling maps, for instance, have additional sets. These things? That look like DNA almost. Cool. More floating animation pieces. Since we are a small team, we have to think creatively to save time. This delights our producers. First you torment them, then you please them. That is the give and take of a working relationship. In this instance, we had the idea to retexture roots using Substance Designer to be used as tentacles for map decoration. Very clever. This looks like an absolute disaster, whatever all these lines are doing. But cool. Like I said, reduce, reuse, reanimate. Wait a minute. As it is a top-down game, the ground textures make up 90% of what you see at any given time. Spending extra effort here really helps the overall visual fidelity and mood. Here are some tests with torn tendril textures. We ended up toning it down as ultimately the readability of the units are the most important, and they got lost in the noise created by this texture, but still makes for a very cool look and feel. We ended up making a whole host of tactical combat maps with these new creepy assets. Yep, they're creepy alright. Especially if they moved. Like, not even moved a lot, because that would make it, you know, kind of dirty the image. Not dirty, cluttered. Like I said, readability of units is the most important thing. But just like ever so slightly, where you weren't sure if the tentacles were actually moving, but you thought they were moving. That would be really unsettling. I'd like that a lot. Fans of Age of Wonders past might recognize these two new forms. We brought back the fan favorite Insectoid and the Siron, albeit reimagined. The game already has a lot of monsters in gritty forms. With Eldritch Realms, we wanted to introduce a counter to that with a beautiful form, the Siron, a race from previous game entries resembling elves. Instead of going down that road, since we already have elves, we decided to pivot them in a different direction. Initially, we leaned into something more aquatic, with a squid-like form that would complement the Eldritch leaders with strange tropical fish-like patterns, or glowing deep-sea features that resembled the stars, which would have been really cool. Ultimately, they felt too alien, so we continued the exploration. Maybe the tentacles were more like hair. Let's try making them a bit more humanoid. Looking good. Further exploration in 3D, pushing more beautiful features like large eyes and designed lashes. We also started playing with varied expressions to avoid a bland look. The pointy elf ears of the original Age of Wonders Siron were brought back, as well as a few aquatic details and astral body patterns from earlier sketch directions. Lastly, we played with emissive hair for an ethereal feeling. Yeah, they do have a lot of decorations. I guess that's where that came from. The aquatic feeling. Good sensor bar. Since we do not have the resources for facial rigs and animation, we decided as part of the art direction to push expressions in the base heads as much as possible. This gives greater variation in the heads you can pick from and avoids the aforementioned bland expression look. This is not only apparent in forms, but you can see this below with some of the other creatures we made for the game. Bland, expressive, he looks big angry. Bland, expressive, disgruntled is what I would describe that. Shadow Demons, Kiriko Insectoid. Insectoid creatures have been a long-running feature in Age of Wonders. From the Shadow Demons of Age of Wonders shadow magic that inspired the Planetfall Kiriko, we come full circle, bringing them back to Eldritch Realms. With this new insectoid form, you can use transformations to turn them into the original Shadow Demons, or angels, or undead, etc. They have returned. Your new story realms. We made 17 new illustrations for the 2 new story realms, really focusing on character-driven composition with vibrant color design. Below is a sneak peek of 2. What do you think is happening here? Well, this little divination orb has tentacles in it, so I guess this is discovering the Umbral Abyss. He looks very surprised, shocked. And then this is people fleeing, running for their miserable lives. The Mage Haven? I don't know. To flavor the new Cosmic Happening events, we ended up creating a new full-screen UI. We lean into the Empire Tree's smoky tendrils as if everything is interconnected through its shadowy branches. A good choice. Everything here is animated and moving, from the stars and dark tendrils to the runes, making the whole scene come to life. Oh hey, here's a sign of the Huntress from the dev stream. The happenings might give new, interesting enchantment visuals. Nice. And apparently, they're able to get this enchantment after the event if you meet whatever the requirement is. Oh, that one looks really cool. I like this one too. It's almost like a starship or something. This is the Huntress one, I believe. No idea what this is, but I like it. Cool. Or new wildlife and maps. Ah, the Scourge. We know very little officially of the Scourge. Just that, they're called the Scourge. Good map. Or temporarily change the lighting of the world map. Yes, during a cosmic happening, the world map can change a little bit. It can become, apparently the change can be quite extreme. They mentioned a desert wind one, making it turn yellowish and reddish. Your wildlife. You guessed it, more tentacles. Everyone loves tentacles. Since the Umbral Abyss is quite a dark place filled with gloom, we decided to make sure the wildlife were lighter in value, pale and fleshy with glowing hot pink kicks of color. This way, they would be readable on top of the new biome. Below, we have a selection of some of the new creatures at different stages of production, through to an in-game model. That's the Direcaster, the eviler Dire Penguin, the Will Thief, the Flesh Abomination, and the Thief thing. Word for thief, kidnap, abductor. There we go. Look at him. That thing goes boom. Early animation test trying to capture the feeling of a swarm with stack scale and placement variations. They almost look weirder when they don't have any color. Like a mannequin, kind of. Throughout development, the concept artists brainstorm many different ideas. The brain creature on the right is a self-portrait of a concept artist doing just that. Wow. An elder brain. I thought it would be fun to take a peek down the road not traveled. There are many reasons some ideas do not pan out, from design changes to technical limitations or simply having a better idea. Here's a selection of creepy crawlies that didn't make the cuts. He's sitting on a throne. I would have loved this one. It's so cool. And I don't even know what this is supposed to be. We have a giant spider. We have enough spiders. We don't need more spiders, especially one that looks like a brain. I would have liked the Elder Brain. That would have been fun. I'd like to take some time to highlight iconography and interface. What I find astounding is that every icon here represents a new gameplay concept with localized descriptive tooltips and coded gameplay. There might also be additional animations or particle effects with bespoke audio. This would be a very nifty sheet to just save for thumbnails, wouldn't it? Sure would. Look at it. There is so much stuff here. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Each of these images aren't just images, they're also all that stuff. Localized tooltips and coded gameplay and... Wow. I recognize most of these. Some new abilities. These are the signature skills for the Eldritch Sovereign. These are spells. Okay. Tome artworks, 3 new Eldritch Realm tomes, and 3 are presenting the new Mystic subcultures as part of the free patch. Yes, the, I think this one is summoning, the one on the left here, with the hand. All of the, you never see them, but all of the cultures have their own tome. It's in the Tome of Wonders encyclopedia thingy. They look good. They look great. We couldn't have an Eldritch DLC without a reskin of the UI frame to match. You guessed it, even more tentacles. I think that was the last song in the music I had playing it was. Sorry, usually I play the full soundtrack in the background for the music, but I was playing the Empires and Ashes soundtrack. I thought maybe I could keep this under 24 minutes, but it's me, so no. Yes, tentacle theme. Bonus, new Eldritch theme Pantheon content to unlock. Ooh, this is our first look at this. There's a one-handed shield, two-handed, a light-ranged, and a staff. We only know that this is like a demon-slaying bow, I think. Which is pretty fun. Okay, I'm going to be disappointed if this staff doesn't have a summon attached to it. Just putting that out there. And thank you to our brilliant community We do all of this for you. Thank you, Damn Dirty Cat, for this hilarious fan art. Be not afraid. Would. Be more afraid. Yeah. That's about right. That's all, folks. We really hope you enjoy Eldritch Realms as much as we enjoyed crafting it. If you're hungry for more art, please check out the Art of Age of Wonders 4 Dev Diary. This is ancient. I think this is before launch. And the Art of Primal Furry Dev Diary. Send prayers for the image server. I think it might become sentient for the sole purpose of strangling us after we fed it so many pictures. Yeah, I could see that happening. So this was the Art of the Eldritch Realms. It was interesting to go, behind the scenes. I know this isn't for everyone, but I was skimming through it myself, and I saw that little bit about the dwellings, and I was like, all right, I'll cover it. We'll go over it. We'll take a stab at it. And I mean, if I went over the art for the Primal Furry, I have to go over the art for the Eldritch Realms. It's how the rules work, I'm afraid. I'm trying to scroll back to... There we go, the dwellings. I really hope we see the dwellings expanded upon. I really do. I think they are going to be a lot of fun, and they could add a lot of flavor and different replayability. I don't remember in Age of Wonders 3 exactly if you could, pick which ones were going to show up, or if it was just completely randomized. I do remember there were some games where I would have a dwelling nearby, and it kind of just, completely changed my game plan. So, hopefully, for, expansion and friendliness and whatnot, hopefully, we have something similar happen. I'm down for all dwellings. I approve. More variety, more good. But this was the Art of the Eldritch Realms. There was not a dev stream on this day, so there's no part 2 to this video. We're just going over the art, just chilling, having fun. This notepad is me working on the poll. But thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Feel free to let me know if you enjoyed looking over the art, or what you think about potential dwellings, or any systems that are in place that could be expanded upon for future content. Thank you to the patrons and the channel members who support the channel. I greatly appreciate you. If you'd like to stay up to the channel, feel free to join the description down below. I'm going to go yoink this for a thumbnail, and I will see you on Thursday, whenever the next Dev Diary is. Bye.